Fellow Rotarians from both 70-20 and 70-30, because my review of the participants tells me that we have as many Rotarians and Rotaractors from 70-20 as we have from 70-30, which is a huge delight for me. So past district governors, if there are any on, I can't see you. Our RMO, Audley, I saw you there. Brian Hulsher, who is one of our speakers today, but he is Rotary Foundation officer responsible for us in our zone. And just checking to see if I've missed anybody else, but it's a great pleasure to welcome all of you to this 12th session that we are having. And today we are dealing with the Rotary Foundation. The Rotary Foundation is the heart of Rotary. And those of you who happened to be in Guadeloupe last year had the pleasure of listening to Rotary International Director Yinka Babalola from Nigeria. And he said that the Rotary Foundation is a magic box into which you put your money, and your money gets multiplied many, many times. And we have seen this in our districts, both 70-20 and 70-30, on many occasions. Clubs, district will put in $1,000, $5,000 and get a project worth 80, 90, 100,000 US. It is in truth the best investment that we can make. Having said those few words, I'd like to ask you please to join me in expressing our condolence to our district governor nominee, Sonia, who lost her mother-in-law this morning very suddenly. So having said that, I ask you now please to listen carefully, enjoy, have fun, and let's learn something about the Rotary Foundation to add to your already growing knowledge that we've had over these past few weeks. Nigel?
Thank you very much, District Governor-elect Lyle. I would now like to invite past District Governor Lara to introduce our speakers.
Thank you very much, Nigel. Good afternoon, everyone. District 70-20, 70-30, Rotarians, Rotaractors, governors, nominee-elect, past, future, hopeful, all of you, welcome. It's a wonderful day to be talking about Rotary Foundation, and I'm delighted to introduce to you our two speakers. I'm going to share my screen, so I trust everyone can see the screen now, and we will do our best to use the technology to be able to go through this with you slide by slide. Just a comment with regards to questions. If you have any questions, please just send them to Nigel or through the chat, and then we will address them at the end of our presentation. So what we are going to be going through this afternoon with you, after I've completed the introductions, is a look at the Rotary Foundation in our district, 70-30, but of course, by extension, the wider Caribbean. And then we will take a global perspective on the Rotary Foundation, followed by questions and answers. The session is meant to be the best part of about an hour, and we hoped to take maybe 45 minutes for the presentation, so we do have some time for questions and answers. So allow me now just to share with you a brief profile of our two presenters so that we can get straight into it. Firstly, our past District Governor Milton Innes, who is a Rotarian for the last 30 years. He joined the Rotary Club of Barbados West in 1990. Milton has served in all avenues of service as a secretary in his club for 6 years prior to becoming club president in 2001. He served as our district governor in 2015-2016 and after that, his district role has been as our grants subcommittee chair for the last 3 years. He's currently our district Rotary Foundation chair. Milton was educated at the University of Reading. He is a fellow of the Royal Institute of Chartered Surveyors and worked in the construction sector for more than 30 years, serving as a director of Morjani Caribbean in Barbados. Milton has been the High Commissioner of Barbados in London since October 2018. So he is joining us today from sunny England. Our next presenter is Brian Holscher. Brian is the annual giving officer for zones 33 and 34 with the Rotary Foundation in Evanston. He serves as an advocate for donors and partners for leaders in 31 districts, crossing the Mid-Atlantic, southeastern USA, and Caribbean to raise contributions to the Rotary Foundation. As part of his role, Brian collaborates with zone, district, and club leaders to support the implementation of fundraising strategies, ensuring continued growth of our annual fund. Brian has more than 15 years experience in fund development, working on donor cultivation and stewardship, volunteer and project management, strategic planning for major gift and annual campaigns, and corporate and foundation relations. Prior to joining the Rotary Foundation, he worked with the YMCA, Motorola Solutions, the US Peace Corps in Botswana, and the Robert McCormick Foundation. Brian is a member of the Association of Donor Relations Professionals and has taken fundraising coursework at Indiana University. He has a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration from Valparaiso University in Indiana. So please join me as we welcome our first presenter, PDG Milton, and I will hand the remote control to him now. Take it away, Milton.
Thank you, PDG Lara, and good afternoon, fellow Rotarians, and welcome to this BET session on the Rotary Foundation. Let's see if I can get this to work. Yes, there we are. We shall go back one. The Rotary Foundation is, for me, I've always described it as the engine which drives our ability to carry out life-changing projects. And it transforms your gifts into service projects that change lives both close to home and around the world. During the past 100 years, the foundation has spent $3 billion on life-changing sustainable projects. And more than 90% of these donations go directly to supporting our service projects around the world. So let us explore the programs of the Rotary Foundation. Perhaps the most famous would be End Polio Now, which I'm sure that you're all aware of. Polio cases have dropped by 99% from 350,000 in 125 countries in 1988 to just 59 cases of polio caused by the wild polio virus in our most recent statistic. Only 2 countries continue to report cases caused by the wild polio virus, that is Afghanistan and Pakistan. Nigeria has not reported a case of wild polio virus since August 2016. While there are some challenges, it is important to remember that we have made significant progress and we anticipate achieving some major milestones over the next year, hopefully. In fact, progress continues to be fragile as the virus continues to circulate in areas of Pakistan and Afghanistan due to children living in areas of conflict, remote geographies, or in highly mobile populations. For example, along the Afghanistan-Pakistan border, some 50,000 people cross the border every day, including children. Ensuring they're vaccinated is a top priority, and vaccination posts have been installed to immunize them while they are on the move. Maintaining community confidence in polio vaccination is also a priority, as some are expressing concern over repeated polio campaigns, particularly when other health services are not readily available. To address this concern, Rotary's National Polio Committee in Pakistan continues, for example, to install water filtration plants in the highest risk areas and hold health camps to address the broader health issues among the communities. Maintaining political and financial commitment of donor-affected and high-risk countries is also important to secure the will and the funding required to finish the job. Rotary is, of course, actively involved in government outreach. This chart shows, this was done on the 5th of May. When I reviewed it today, Afghanistan had gone up to 12 and Pakistan had gone up to 47. So there are 5 additional cases over the last 3 weeks. Going too quickly. So we entered 2020 knowing that we had challenges to address and overcome to stop transmission of polio in these endemic countries and sustain and build on the progress in other areas. Of course, the COVID-19 pandemic has been a curveball that nobody could have anticipated. And COVID-19, like polio, has impacted life throughout the world, and also like polio, was not well understood. Initially, there's lack of a vaccine or an effective cure, and therefore place extraordinary public health threats to communities and a burden on health systems. Due to the unique nature of COVID-19 and the way that the virus spreads, immunization activities, particularly mass immunization campaigns, including those for polio, have been paused. It remains to be seen how long this disruption will last, but it will most certainly result in more vulnerable children and probably an increase of cases. The focus required to combat COVID-19 pandemic will also divert already limited and finite human and financial resources. However, the Global Polio Eradication Initiative is still working to carry out polio eradication activities to the extent possible, particularly the surveillance to detect suspected cases of polio and monitor transmission, and routine immunization, which can be carried out on a more direct and limited basis. However, frontline health workers for global polio eradication are supporting the COVID-19 pandemic response, while also working to continue polio eradication activities where possible. And for instance, some of that response, besides coordinating the outbreak response, is educating communities on prevention, for example, hand washing and physical distancing, investigating cases, training health workers, and tracing contacts. Continued fundraising, therefore, is essential to protect the gains that we have worked so hard to achieve and ensuring that we can resume full polio eradication activities as quickly as possible. Rotary is committed to raising $5 million per Rotary year for polio eradication through its donations of our members. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, of course, is pledged to match that 2-to-1 for a total commitment of $150 million per year. We're therefore asking clubs to donate a minimum of $1,500 to the polio fund, and also the district is also asked to donate 20% of our DDF to that fund, which is something that this district has been doing for some time. Of course, we have set this, District Governor-elect Lyle and I have set this also as a goal that we would wish for next Rotary year, 2020-21. It is also to note that contributions to the Polio Plus will qualify for Paul Harris Fellowships and Major Donor recognition. Now, our second program, and we heard a video on that, is the Rotary Peace Fellowship. Rotary Peace Center's program has a vision of sustainable peace and encompassing a network of peace builders and community leaders dedicated to preventing and resolving conflicts around the globe. Rotary partners with 8 leading universities to host Rotary Peace Centers that empower, educate, and increase the capacity of peace builders. More than 1,300 program alumni are working on peace and development in more than 115 countries. This map shows the outreach of these peace centers. We have 7 peace centers at 8 universities. 5 offer master's degrees in disciplines relating to peace and development. So those highlighted in yellow are the joint program at Duke University and the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill in the USA, the International Christian University in Japan, the University of Bradford in England, the University of Queensland in Australia, and Uppsala University in Sweden. Those highlighted in purple, there are 2 centers at the Chulalongkorn University in Thailand and the Makerere University in Uganda, which offer professional development certificate in peace and conflict studies. The year-long program blends online learning, classroom studies, and a social change initiative. A Rotary Club must sponsor the prospective Rotary Fellow candidate. The candidate will be interviewed by the district, as you've heard, which, once satisfied, will then submit the application to RI. Once the candidate is successful, the Peace Fellow is expected to maintain a link with Rotary and be an ambassador for Rotary. They should visit Rotary clubs in their place of study and also their sponsor club. They should become effective alumni and ultimately become a Rotary member. We actually, in this district, a few years ago, had a Rotary Peace Fellow from French Guiana. Up to 130 Rotary Peace Fellows are selected each year to earn a master's degree or the professional development certificate. The 2 programs were created to provide those near to the start of their careers, as well as those with proven experience, with the educational opportunities that will further their careers in peace building and development. Each year, 50 fellows are assigned to the master's program, which lasts from 15 months to 2 years, and up to 50 fellows are selected to participate in the 1-year certificate program, with 2 cohorts of up to 20 fellows participating at each of the 2 certificate centers. The teaching in the master's program is grounded in practical research. Students are enrolled graduate students with diverse backgrounds and professional experience. The fellows that are selected for the master's program will benefit from academic training with diverse curricula. The centers build on the unique strengths of their university host and offer courses that examine peace and conflict through various frameworks. At all centers, the core coursework includes peace and conflict resolution, with a focus on negotiation, mediation, human rights, or international development. A fully funded applied field experience of 2 to 3 months that they're designed to carry out. It's an opportunity to put theory into practice. There are opportunities to network with a cohort of diverse Peace Fellows, as well as with Rotarians at home and in their host countries. There's a Rotary-sponsored workshop series that helps them to develop professional skills in resiliency. The chance to present their research during an annual seminar hosted by the universities and local Rotarians. The ideal master's candidate is academically strong, has a bachelor's degree in a related field, and has work experience in peace and development. Candidates need to demonstrate a commitment to peace and conflict resolution, be able to undertake extensive reading and discussion in the pursuit of knowledge, and be able to actively participate within a diverse cohort of students. After the program, candidates should be willing to share their own work and experience, staying in touch with Peace Fellows in their region, and maintaining strong connections with Rotary members. The certificate program or the professional development program is aimed at people who are already working in a related field. During the one-year program, students with diverse backgrounds and professional experience gain practical skills to promote peace in their communities and around the globe. Fellows complete field studies and they design and carry out a social change initiative. Rotary selects a cohort of up to 20 Peace Fellows twice per year for each center, and the cohorts will have some overlap to encourage a sense of community and increase networking, as the diagrams show. The program includes an online preliminary course that provides baseline knowledge and sets expectations for the incoming fellows, a 10-week on-site course that includes field studies, an independent project period during which fellows work on a social change initiative in their community or workplace. They receive interactive online sessions and mentorship. An independent project period during which fellows work on the social change initiative, a 1-week capstone seminar for fellows to reflect and report on their positive peace efforts and their impact. The ideal candidate, again, is a proven peace and development leader with at least 5 years of relevant work experience. Candidates need to come to the program with an idea for a social change initiative to promote peace and development in the program region or their community. They also need a clear vision on how the fellowship experience and network will advance the peace work and increase the impact. And after the program, the candidates should be willing to share their own work and experience, staying in touch with Peace Fellows in the regions and maintaining strong contacts with their Rotary members. The next program that I'm sure most of you are familiar with are grants. We had a session earlier in the Rotary calendar in these sessions on grants specifically, but I wanted to recap. District grants, of course, are designed for smaller projects with short-term impact that address the immediate needs in the community. Suggested alignment with the 6th focus provides indeed an established framework on which to design a project. Clubs will apply on the district grant form, which will be sent to you, and applications are to be submitted to PDG Lara and myself. These will be reviewed. We will notify clubs of applications that have been successful and those that have not been successful. The district will then complete the application to RI for the district grants for all of those approved grants. And once the district receives the money, it will be distributed to the respective approved clubs. There are reporting requirements which clubs are expected to comply with. This year, we funded 6 district grants, totaling just over $53,000 US, which covered the following areas of focus: maternal and child health, disease prevention and treatment, basic education and literacy, and economic and community development. Moving on to global grants. Global grants, of course, fund projects and activities that relate to the goals of the areas of focus and are sustainable and measurable. Global grants provide larger awards for projects and activities with a minimum World Fund award of $15,000 US, resulting in a total project cost of $30,000 US and above. Because global grants include a World Fund match, they are flexible and economical options for scholarships and vocational training teams. There's a minimum 30% financing requirement from international partners. Of course, they're used for longer-term projects and are managed by the foundation. The UNESCO IHE Scholarship at Delft is now a global grant, and it's a scholarship for water and sanitation professionals, and it's an 18-month MSc program. The total cost of the scholarship is $60,000 US. The Dutch government funds $10,000 US, which leaves $50,000 US to be funded via this global grant application. The local Rotary Club and the scholar are anticipated to financially contribute to the global grant together with at least $3,000 and to secure DDF funds in their district of at least $5,000. The next type of grant are what we call scale grants, which are competitive grants that are designed to respond to a clearly defined need that reflects community priorities and engages its leaders. It benefits a large number of people in a significant geographic area. Implemented by a Rotary club or a district, along with an experienced partner like an NGO or a private institution or indeed government. Rotarian leadership must guide the project to succeed, as the grant should not simply transfer resources to partner organizations. The World Fund provides $2 million to an approved project. Applicants are strongly encouraged to supplement foundation funding with resources from multiple other sources. Each grant will support for 3 to 5 years activities that align with one or more of the Rotary areas of focus. An applicant should be prepared to include a fully developed and highly sophisticated project design, as well as include baseline data and plans for monitoring and evaluation. The project should include activities that have proved to be successful elsewhere. Rotary clubs or districts with strongest proposals will be invited to submit applications, which will include comprehensive details about the project. Partner organizations can also complete the proposal and application along with the Rotary club or the district. I just again wanted to review the Rotary grant cycle as it relates really to global grants, which are completed online. And during the draft stage, of course, the Rotary members will plan their project. They will complete their community assessment, and they will build their project online. Club and district leaders will then review and authorize funding. Once authorization is complete, the application is submitted to the Rotary Foundation. They will then review the application and will revert to the Rotarians on any queries or concerns that they may have. Once those are answered, it is resubmitted and the Foundation will advise whether the application is successful or not. Once approved, the funds will be disbursed and members will start that project. There are annual reporting requirements until the project is complete and the grant is closed. I just wanted to show with this slide that the value of the approved grants between the years of 2013 and 2016 have been just a total of just under $1.8 million. What it also shows is that there has been an increase in global grant participation over the years of 2013, 2018, with a slight decrease in 2019. And some of those grants are still ongoing as we speak. This slide just gives you some examples of projects currently being done in our district in 5 of the 6 areas of focus. We have no projects under peace and conflict resolution at this time. The mammography equipment for the detection in breast cancer in Curacao is a continuation of a population screening and further enhancement of the program by replacing the old equipment with a modern machine that will enhance detection rates while reducing false positives. The Antigua Education and Training was providing computers and software along with Wi-Fi networks in primary schools, along with training of teachers in teaching more effectively with technology. The project also includes the creation of another sewing center, which offers training to individuals. The Eastern Caribbean Neonatal Network seeks to sustainably strengthen the medical care available to newborn babies in the Eastern Caribbean by developing regional capacity and training programs for health workers. Barbados acts as the hub for the regional exchange and the regional training conference, while focusing the efforts of the project in Grenada and St. Lucia. Sustainable Living, Improving Lives provides a 450-gallon water tank with guttering and plumbing, plus a prefabricated kitchen garden structure with a built-in irrigation system to families. The object is to catalyze a national self-sufficiency program around water storage and food security. The Old England Water Project is about the construction of a well and water distribution system. The well is fitted with a solar-powered submersible pump with a capacity of 40,500 liters a day. There's also a 12,000 liter storage tank, which will supply water when there is no sunlight. A filtration system has also been included to provide safe drinking water to the community. So that gives you an idea of the breadth of the projects that exist in our district at this time. The next slide, of course, is about donations. And of course, the programs and the projects are only possible because Rotarians have supported the foundation and participated in foundation grants. I'm sure we will all remember every Rotarian every year, which several years ago, that initiative was started. And the goal was to encourage support of the annual fund and increase Rotarian engagement with the foundation. The effort is based on the idea that if every Rotarian gave at least 25 US every year to the annual fund, the possibilities of what the fund would accomplish would multiply. Indeed, in the years 2018-2019, Rotarians gave a little over 126 million to the annual fund, and the foundation awarded more than 1,400 global grants. With nearly a third of the Rotarians making a gift to the annual fund and becoming EREY eligible worldwide, we have achieved a lot and improved the lives of many. But can you imagine if more contributed, what Rotary could do? Along with donations, of course, come rewards that Rotary gives you. And some of them will be familiar, but I'll just go through. As a sustaining member, that is a donation of $100 or more per year to the annual fund. As a Paul Harris Fellow, it is given to anyone who contributes or in whose name it is contributed, or using foundation recognition points, a gift of $1,000 or more cumulatively to the annual fund, the Polio Fund, or an approved global grant. The Paul Harris Society member contributes $1,000 or more each Rotary year to the annual fund, the Polio Plus Fund, or an approved grant. The major donor recognizes individuals or couples whose combined giving has reached $10,000, regardless of the gift designation. The recognition level can be achieved only through personal contributions and not through recognition points. Archcamp Society are donors who contribute $250,000 or more become members of the Archcamp Society. A benefactor is someone who informs the Rotary Foundation in writing that they have made a provision in their estate plan for the foundation, or who makes an outright gift of $1,000 or more to the endowment fund. And the Bequest Society, the Rotary Foundation recognizes couples or individuals who have made commitments in their estate plans totaling $10,000 or more. So that gives you a wide variety of choices in which to contribute to the Rotary Foundation. And I just wanted to give you a quick update and snapshot of where we are in the district. This was done a week ago, and firstly, I can say we are way below our target, as the graph on the left shows. That is the light blue line, which shows where we are, as opposed to the gray line, which shows where we should be. We have only achieved 61.5% of our annual giving total and 73.1% of our Polio Plus Fund goal. 25 clubs have not donated to the annual fund and 51 clubs to the Polio Plus Fund. The goals are put in, as you would recognize, by the clubs before the beginning of the Rotary year in Rotary Club Central. It also shows that only 72% of clubs have submitted goals on the annual fund and only 54% on the Polio Plus fund. Our total donations to date are approximately $134,000, and we are nearly at the end of this Rotary year. And as you can see, as I said, that is way below what has been done over the last 4 years. So, fellow Rotarians, given all that we have talked about today, about programs, about the grants that this district is doing, indeed the need in the very near future that Rotarians are going to have to help rebuild communities given this COVID-19 pandemic, I wish to appeal to you, to those of you who have not donated, please do so. To those of you who have already donated, but can find more, we will be most grateful. Always remember that the money that you put in the annual fund gives us back 50% in 3 years' time to our DDF for us to carry out our projects. So the more you put in, the greater the returns. The money that you put into the Polio Plus Fund helps to eradicate this disease. The table will also show information on the number of members with PHFs and major donors and so forth, and other district information such as their foundation points. I will leave the next slide with you shortly. That gives us just the contact information for PDG Lara, who is District Grants Subcommittee Chair. And I, of course, am the District Rotary Foundation Chair, and of course, DGE Lyle, who in 2021 will be District Governor. So thank you very much, fellow Rotarians. That ends my presentation. And I will now hand you over to Brian Hulsher from the Rotary Foundation in Evanston, Illinois. And Brian, of course, was supposed to have joined us had we had our conference in St. Kitts, where he would have enjoyed our usual West Indian and Caribbean hospitality. Hopefully, he has been denied that this year, but hopefully next year we can have him again so he can experience, as his counterparts have done who have been before, how we have a Rotary conference. Brian, over to you. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Milton and Laura and all of the other district leaders. And good afternoon, everyone. It's so great to be here. As Milton said, I definitely would have liked to be with you last month in St. Kitts, but this will be just fine. So before we get started, I just want to say that I'm thinking about you all and hoping things get back to normal soon during these crazy times we're facing. So now on to business. Milton has already shared a great deal of information with you on the Rotary Foundation. So I want to highlight a few additional things from a global perspective as a Rotary International staff member. Sorry about that. The Rotary Foundation, or commonly referred to as TRF, is the charitable arm of Rotary International. It is supported solely by voluntary contributions from Rotarians like you and friends of the foundation who share its vision of a better world. Here I've underlined what I think is the most key phrase of the foundation's mission statement, which is the Rotary Foundation is to enable Rotarians. And as you know, what Rotarians do is really answer the unique needs of the communities around the world. The foundation is the steam in your engine. It funds your grant activities. The foundation is carefully overseen by your fellow Rotarians, like the trustees of the foundation. They ensure that donations are invested well and spent wisely so they will do good in the world. The generosity of our donors and the good work that Rotary does hasn't gone unrecognized. For example, we received top ratings from Charity Navigator, the leading evaluator of nonprofits in the United States. It rated the foundation #1 of 10 of the best charities everyone's heard of, in recognition of our exceptional impact, accountability, and transparency. And for the second consecutive year, CNBC named us one of the top 10 charities changing the world. In addition to these accomplishments, the foundation celebrated its centennial in the Rotary year of 2016-17, a milestone that few other organizations have achieved. Here are the 3 funds of the Rotary Foundation, which donors can financially support depending on their philanthropic interest. The annual fund, which is the bedrock of our foundation, supports projects today. The endowment fund supports the foundation for tomorrow's needs. And then finally, the Polio Plus Fund supports our polio eradication efforts. And I kind of tend to remember these 3 funds by thinking as the annual fund as our checking account, the endowment fund as our savings account, and then again, the Polio Plus Fund as our emergency account. Our foundation is dedicated to 6 causes or areas of focus that build international relationships, improve lives, and promote a more peaceful world. The Rotary Foundation can help donors turn their passions for a cause into the action and lasting change. Donors are encouraged to lead efforts in these 6 areas, and TRF is here to support those efforts with grants. So let's go back for a moment to the annual fund, because I personally believe it's where all the magic that happens in Rotary. The annual fund is a source of all funding for local and international projects. Contributions to it help make humanitarian impact possible. When I ask Rotarians why they support the annual fund, many say it's because with TRF, you get something back when you give. When donors contribute to the annual fund share, as mentioned earlier, half of the donation becomes available for your district and clubs to use however they want. You will see how this process works in the graphic on the slide. It's a bit tricky to understand, so let me provide an example of how it works with a donation. So for example, if a donor makes a donation of $1,000 to the annual fund share, for 3 years, this contribution is invested. The investment earnings historically have been used to pay for the foundation's operating cost. After 3 years, that money is made available to fund your projects. Half the contribution, or $500 in this case, becomes part of your district's designated funds, also known as DDF. This is the money your district uses to help fund local and international projects, and your district decides how to use it. And then the other half, the $500, goes to the World Fund. These funds are used for worldwide grants, foundation programs available for all Rotary districts, grant matches, or aid where the trustees determine the need is greatest. Districts that are active with both district and club grants, global grants, get the full impact of gifts made to their members. The funds we have access to this Rotary year, 2019-2020, come from contributions made 3 years ago. So for example, funds that were in 2020 are from the 2016-17 Rotary year. And that's why it's so important for your members to support the Rotary Foundation consistently. Now that you've heard all of the great causes we support, Donors have several ways to make a donation to the Rotary Foundation. For example, I personally love Rotary Direct. It's a simple and secure way to make a big impact, and it ensures that donations go directly to the foundation, resulting in faster processing. Also, donors can give online at rotary.org/donate. If they are signed into My Rotary, their donation will automatically be connected to their account and also credited to their Rotary Club. Next, Rotarians can also talk to their club foundation chair and make a gift through their club. Or donors can mail in their gift with the foundation contribution form, which is available on My Rotary. Lastly, if a donor's company is eligible, consider having donations matched by employers. Donors need to request a matching gift form from their employer's Human Resources Department and send the form to TRF, completed and signed along with the donation, and we'll handle the rest. Moving on, I want to leave each of you with 4 keys that will ensure foundation success in your clubs. Step 1 is to build a strong team. As you know, there's so much going on that it is crucial to select a club foundation chair to be your main advocate for the foundation. Other ideas include meeting with the club's board, talking with club's past presidents, and talking with DRFC Milton to gain insight and ask questions. The next step is to set, document, and share foundation fundraising goals. Club leadership plays a key role in helping the foundation reach its comprehensive fundraising goal this year, which is $400 million. I encourage you to look at the club's historical fundraising data and work with your team to set a realistic goal for next Rotary year. The third step is all about inspiring Rotarians through storytelling. What I mean here is to lead by example, by being a donor yourself, and then telling your Rotary story as a way to inspire others to devote their time, talent, and treasure to the foundation. And as we all have seen in the beginning of this webinar, the many webinars that are available to use if you don't have your own story, or again, reach out to me or other district leaders to find that story to inspire your members. And the final step is to make it easy for your Rotarians. Let's communicate to them the multiple ways to make a donation to the Rotary Foundation, which I mentioned on the previous slide. One last thing to remember is that you have a whole team behind you at Rotary International. On this slide, you'll see staff names and their contact information of just a few individuals that are available to help you inspire Rotarians of doing good in the world. I do want to call out one in particular, and that's to encourage you to reach out to the Rotary Support Center for general questions like points transfers, report basics, and contribution details. If they don't have an answer, they will reach out to Rotary International staff in their respective area of expertise for support. So that's a wrap. And I want to leave you on one last thing, and that's I want to personally say thank you and express my gratitude for each of you on the webinar today for all you do to make the world a better place for all. Thank you very much. And now I'll turn it back to Laura and others to coordinate questions you have.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. Let's hear it for Brian and Milton. Marvelous presentation. We have a number of questions, and I'm just keeping an eye on the clock, so I'm going to read them out. And Brian and Milton, if you just make sure your mics are on so that you can answer. And I just want to say 2 things before I do. One is to encourage all the Rotarians who are with us today to reach out to either our district leaders or the leaders and the support at Rotary International if we don't have time to answer your questions, or your question, you haven't had a chance to share it. There are so many people with expertise that are available to help and support you. So if we don't get to you today, don't worry. Either Milton, myself, Lyle, PDG David, Nigel, there's a ton of us available to help you. There's people with experience in grant writing, experience in global grants as well. So we can connect you. And of course, the team at RI are there to serve us and help us as well. And the second thing is I want to encourage you, and I see PDG David has put this on the chat as well. Don't wait till the 30th of June at midnight to give to the foundation. Give now, encourage your members now, a small amount every month. Maybe do a collection once a month, a few dollars every month. It all adds up and we benefit because we can get the money back in grants for our district. So give now and ask questions if you have them, and we don't get to them today. Right. Okay, so Milton, two questions on the Peace Scholarships. One, is there an age limit to be considered for application? And two, did Peace Fellow from French Guiana become a Rotarian?
I'm not sure of if there's an age limit. I mean, there are qualifications in terms of your experience and so on. I don't think there is an age limit. Certainly none has been met that I've seen any. Brian may be able to fill in there. In terms of the lady from French Guiana, I'm not sure she became a Rotarian. I know she was a lawyer, but I'm not sure she has become a Rotarian. I don't know if there's anyone from French Guiana that may be able, or PDG Hervé if he was here, because he and I served on that committee, if she did. Yes, Hervé says she's a member of RC Cayenne. So there we are.
And he is also now a member of our Peace Committee.
Okay, excellent.
For 2021.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. So the next question comes from Aruba, and perhaps, Brian, you can answer this. Can you start a project in advance, or do you have to wait for the approval for a Rotary grant?
Sure. You know, I'm gonna maybe have Milton chime in with that one.
Okay.
Related to the grant.
Well, for global grant, certainly you have
process.
For global grant, certainly you have to wait for approval because you won't get the finance. And certainly for district grant, we would suggest that you wait for approval as well. I know sometimes the money, because as we do it as a a single grant that we send off, and sometimes people start the project and then they fill in. But it's probably better if because once you know that you've been successful, you expect to get the grant. Okay. But bear in mind one thing that I didn't say, because I know it's happened to me even with district grants. Sometimes Rotary will ask questions on the individual projects when you send up or block grant for district grants.
So there's also a question on the deadline to submit a global grant application. Yeah, and then Alistair has asked, what would prevent a club from being eligible to apply for district or global grants? Do you want to take those two, Milton?
Yeah, so there is no deadline for global grants. In terms of the district grants, our deadline in the protocol that we have sent, which you should get as a package from the district secretary-elect, that package will include the protocol, the MOU, which the current president and president-elect must sign and return to PDG Lara before the 30th of June, I think it is, and also the district grant form, which you will use to apply. The deadline date for district grants is the 30th of September, 2020.
And what would prevent a club from being eligible?
Right. Again, within that protocol, there are a number of things. I can't remember all of them off the top of my head, but we expect that clubs over the last 3 years would have donated to the Rotary Foundation. we would expect that you would have chosen a Rotary, a foundation chair. There are the two that I remember, and there are a number of others. So I said, once you get that package, you will see the various criteria.
Okay. There's a great question from Lethan Khan, and Brian, maybe you could help us with this. Our club is looking to partner with a government ministry to tackle the problem of homelessness in the post-COVID era. Where would this fit the criteria in terms of the 6 areas of focus?
It depends on the frame of the global grant. I mean, it could be community and economic development. It depends on what the focus of the grant is. Homelessness,
so if it's building a shelter, or
I don't know,
a bank, or
could it be peace and conflict resolution? I don't know.
Brian, do you have any experience with homelessness type projects? Have you any guidance on that?
You know, unfortunately, I don't have anything to add than what Milton's shared. We could definitely take note of the question, and Laura, you and I can work, and I can get you any additional information so we can get back to the Rotarian that asked the question. But great question.
Yeah, and I think it's important, as I said at the beginning, you know, a lot of the projects that we think about have been done either by other clubs in our district or around the world, so we don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Right.
We can look for examples of other grant applications and edit them for our particular circumstance. And I think maybe a number of us will be looking at post-COVID projects, whether it's economic development, you know, I don't think healthcare so much in the Caribbean, but a big one for us, of course, is the recovery of the tourism sector. So that may come up as part of economic development as well. There is a question here. Now that Rotaract is at the same level and there is a call for more young Rotarians, how does that affect their ability to apply for the Rotary Fellowship if Rotarians cannot apply? So I think they mean a Rotaractor now. Can a Rotaractor apply for the fellowship? Milton?
Which fellowship?
I'm assuming the Peace Scholarship.
The Peace Scholarship.
I'm not aware that they can.
I don't think that they can.
No, it's anybody within the Rotary family. I see
David?
No. Yeah, so once you're a member of the Rotary family, Rotaract, Interact, Rotarian, you're not eligible for the Peace Scholar.
No.
Right? The Rotary, the whole idea is, yes, to support peace and conflict resolution, but also to grow our Rotary family, so that we train others to then join the Rotary family. So, all right, let me just see if I've missed any other questions. Global grants, I've seen a few people have been answering questions on the chat as well, which is great. And I think that, there's a question, one last one. The grant projects, are they just for the Rotary parent clubs? I don't actually understand the question. That was from Kerry-Ann Jackson. Kerry-Ann, are you still with us?
Lara, if I may, I think that was if a Rotaract club can apply for the grants. So the parent club would have been the Rotary Club.
For global grant, not at this stage, no.
Yeah, okay.
Not at this stage. They can be part of a district grant. I mean, they can be part of it, but they cannot apply on their own.
Right, directly. All right. So I am going to take that then as a close. We have no further questions. Oh, and also to point out that Assistant Governor Debbie Rootchand is our incoming Peace Scholarship Chair, and we can share her email address with you. She has a lot of information if you want more on the Peace Scholarships. And of course, I will be incoming Grants Chair for our district coming up July 1, and Milton will be our Foundation Chair. So please reach out to us, please email, call us, look for us on Facebook. I am also at the moment handling the district Facebook page. So if you have projects you'd like to share with other Rotarians so that we can learn from each other. And our final thought before I hand you back to Nigel and Lyle is to please remember to give. Yes, it's a magic box, but we are not magicians. We can't make money if there's no money in the box. So it's really important, if you want to access a grant, and there's great projects that I know your clubs want to do, you have to put money in to be able to get money out. So on that note, I want to thank again PDG Milton and Brian from the Rotary Foundation for their time and expertise. Thank you all for joining us this afternoon, and I'll hand you back to our district trainer, incoming district trainer, to close off. Thank you.
Thank you very much, PDG Lara, PDG Milton, and Brian. Before I give the vote of thanks, I would just like to invite DGE Lyle to just say a few words on the vision for District 7030 moving forward.
Thanks again, Nigel. Our vision is the vision of Rotary International. Together, we see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe, in our communities, and in ourselves. And in achieving that vision, we do have a number of district objectives that we want to achieve. And those objectives are all built around Rotary's strategic pillars. And the strategic pillars, as you will all remember, first of all, increasing our impact. And how are we going to do that? We're going to increase our impact through our major projects: childhood obesity prevention, polio eradication, and peace. Peace is a major initiative for us this year. And trust me, you're going to see a lot of exciting stuff on peace that you never thought possible in the course of the year. We're going to expand our reach. And how are we going to expand that? Go back to number one. When we increase our impact, people will see what we do and they will want to be a part of it. And that is one of the ways we will expand our reach. This platform also helps us to expand our reach. So we have had speakers, and we will have on the 4th of July, the president of Rotary International, Holger Kanak, and we will continue throughout the year to have wonderful speakers for you on this platform. Enhancing our participant engagement. Again, when we're doing great projects, Rotarians are much more engaged. They enjoy being Rotarians. They feel proud of being Rotarians. So increase our impact will help us to enhance our participant engagement. And we are already adapting. So our projects this year, and don't forget, we're going to sell our district pin, and every single Rotarian, I hope, will buy the district pin, and every penny from the sale of that pin will go into our COVID relief project. I hope you notice the family of Rotary on that pin, all represented by their unique colors: Rotary, Rotaract, and Interact. So we will be looking at the COVID relief projects as well. And brand, if you listen to Carla Stubbs the other night, remember the brand. Brand Rotary. Everything you do in this year, remember to brand it. Brand it as Rotary, because when people see brand Rotary out there, it makes impact. Who is that? Who are these people? What are they doing? They don't all know us. Don't assume they do. I'm wearing my Rotary Opens Opportunities t-shirt today because I believe there's so many opportunities out there. And what a wonderful theme for all of us. Remember, be audacious, choose your projects, go for it, have fun, and let's make a difference. Thank you very much, Nigel.
Thank you very much, DG Lyle. I just want to on behalf of Lara, she said here, please give special thanks to Natalie for her superb translations of our presentation. Natalie, thank you very much, very hard working in the back. So I'd like to thank officially now the presenters, thank PDG Milton and Brian, and PDG Lara for moderating so well as she normally does. Thank you so much, Lara, for giving you, and all of you all for giving of your time. Special thanks to the people who work in the background as well. PDG Hervé did the French translation, simultaneous translation this afternoon. Thank you, PDG Hervé. To Sean for all the amount of work he does in the background. Sean, we can't thank you enough. To Liz and Abraham and Natalie and Vicky, thank you so much for all the work you all do in the background. And without them, we will not be able to put on these sessions. All 170 people who participated, please give a warm thank you to our presenters. As we leave today, enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you back here on Tuesday night at, please check. I keep making mistakes with the times, but please check. Tuesday. Thank you very much.